Hi beauty fam, today I'm going to do a almost 10-hour wear of first impressions of the new DIOR Forever Skin Glow foundation. This beautiful bottle here. DIOR recently reformulated this foundation, and it comes in a glow and a matte foundation. I'm trying out the glow just because I try not to do so much matte nowadays for my skin type. And so if you're interested in seeing that review, then keep watching. DIOR recently reformulated this foundation, and I actually have a review of the last time they reformulated this foundation in the glow and the matte, and I will link them up above and below. And I was not a fan of that reformulation. They are moving towards being more clean beauty, and I don't know, I'm a little bit skeptical on them saying it's clean beauty. I understand there's some ingredients maybe they're not allowed to put in anymore because of regulations. I just did not have a good experience with that last reformulation. It looked really great on camera, but in real life it separated and it just looked really bad after a couple hours. So here I am again trying this new reformulation, and we'll see. So I will talk about the changes and what this product claims to do while I show some shots of the product, and we'll go from there. And so the DIOR Forever Skin Glow foundation has two releases. There's a skin glow and then there's a matte. I have been shying away from matte lately just because my skin has been getting drier as I'm aging. So I wanted to try this because I remember last time they had a glow foundation, it did have some drying down capabilities. So this reformulation has a couple of claims. On the front it says that it's flawless radiant skin true foundation. I'm not sure what that means other than maybe it looks like natural foundation. We'll see. It also claims that it's 24-hour makeup wear, no retouching, triple action care with sunscreen. And the triple action care claims to have hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, and peptide. The SPF included is a broad spectrum SPF 25, and it is the standard 30 milliliters, 1 fluid ounce. The packaging on DIOR is always on point. I think they just have the most gorgeous packaging in the luxury beauty space. Even the box, it says DIOR on it. Triple action care foundation, glowy, skin evening, hydration, 24-hour, refers to the duration of the makeup wear, not necessarily the sunscreen. What we're seeing again the past couple years, and I've talked about this on my channel, the past 4 or 5 years, we're seeing a lot of beauty where they're trying to like shove all the things in a magical foundation formula. Not only is it coverage, but there's skincare properties, and then they're adding SPF on that. My shade for DIOR is 3WO, which is 3 warm olive. I only have one other DIOR foundation, which I love. I think this is like one of my OG foundations, and it's the Backstage DIOR foundation. I hope they never reformulate this, because if they do, I'm going to buy a backup. I tend to wear this for events or when I'm going to be outdoors. It's kind of my perfect match, and it's just a flawless application. This product is up there next to my Chanel Ultra Le Tint. Such a beautiful packaging. DIOR never misses on packaging. I think they have some of the most beautiful luxury makeup beauty packaging. If you order from their website, they have fantastic gifts with purchases. There's no doubt about it that DIOR, I think, has some of the most beautiful packaging, and that's kind of what we expect for luxury beauty. This is priced at $60, so it's definitely on the higher end, but certainly not the most expensive foundation we've seen on the market. We've seen in the past couple of years foundations that peak over $100, which is pretty ridiculous, but this is luxury beauty. You spend your money how you want to. In a way, the $60 is on the average or lower end for luxury foundations, and this is what the bottle looks like. So because it's glow, they tend to reflect what the finish is by the packaging. So It is very glowy. Let me do a little quick swatch comparison of the two DIOR products I have. It comes with a pump and has CD on the top. And what I noticed already, always shake well before you do this foundation. And this is what 3 Warm Olive looks like. And I film in natural light. So there is some, and I'm shaking now the 3WO from the DIOR Backstage. This foundation tends to be more runny. So DIOR Backstage, this one is a little bit deeper actually, and then the new one is a little bit lighter. So let me just spread that one a little bit. You can see it's definitely more emollient. It is a glowy foundation. And then this is the Backstage. Okay, so not exactly the same shade, even though the name is the same. So this is kind of how I do my foundation. We'll do one pump and see. I tend to not put foundation on my face anymore. I like to push it into a brush. I just find that I have better application, less like, it's a little bit more seamless. So I'm taking my SEPHORA 56 brush. I have a mirror. Okay, it definitely has fragrance I can smell. It's the typical DIOR scent. And I think because, I'm gonna guess because the second ingredient is alcohol, there's gonna be a quick dry down on this. That's would be my guess. But again, this is a first impressions, and then I'll do a wear test today just so you can see what it looks like throughout the day. Okay, so that's one side. And I tend not to put too much foundation on my forehead, just whatever is left over on the brush. No foundation, foundation. It's a pretty good match. It tends, I think it's a little bit lighter. Here, let me just show you my neck so we can compare. It's actually a pretty good match. If you look at my neck, it's on the warm side. We'll see if it oxidates or oxidizes. And I would say that's like half a pump, maybe a little bit more half. I might have to do pump and a half to do my whole face. So now I'm going into the other side. I'm wearing my really coveted vintage DIOR clip-on earrings. I got this at a luxury estate sale locally. I love it. You know, clip-on earrings tend to be a little bit painful because they're really secure, but I ended up getting padding on it from online, and it's definitely more wearable. But look at these beautiful vintage DIOR clip-on earrings. I love them. Okay, so what I'm going to look through on the day, throughout the day, is like how it's wearing. Will it lift? How glowy is it? I have oily skin, just so you know. Oily skin, aging, eczema here, and rosacea. And a rosacea tends to be here, which I'm kind of having a pseudo flare up because of my allergies in the allergy season. But so far, first impression, it looks very like luminous matte. It reminds me a little bit of the Chanel foundations, Le Beige, and a little bit of the #1 Chanel, in that it's glowy, but not like super glowy in a way that looks like super greasy. It just looks healthy. I do like it. It's definitely has a dry down mechanism. Pretty seamless. This is like the leftover on my hand, and you can see like it looks not super glowy, but just like healthy. That's what's on my hand. Okay, so one of my tells of my foundation, if it lasts really well or if it's a good foundation, is how it acts on my nose, because I have really large pores. Sorry to get so close. What I'm looking for is, because I have big pores on my nose and throughout the day it gets oily. So what I'm looking for, because I've already primed my face, a good foundation will not well up in my pores and my nose. So that's something I will look for. Initially, like right away, some foundations I can tell like if it starts to like make pores and holes, like you can see, I already know it's going to be a bad foundation. But so far what I'm seeing is it's not welling. It's really like blending into my skin really well. And it's kind of leaving a really nice glow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, like, that was actually one pump. I don't want to do more than one pump because actually this is pretty true to form of how I would do my makeup. I'm trying to not do so much makeup nowadays. I'm trying to do a little bit more of a natural, like, foundation look, or just overall natural look, because my skin has been really good that I've worked on for the past couple years. And if you guys want to update on like my skincare routine, let me know. So I think it looks good. This is it without powdering it down. Like, getting close so you can see. So again, I don't have perfect foundation or perfect skin. The reason I started my channel is it was really hard for me to find someone with like medium tan, warm olive skin tones. So if that's kind of what you're looking for, then remember to subscribe to my channel. I'll help you out. I have a lot of foundation and a lot of lipstick, and that's kind of what this channel is for. But also I've noticed there's a lot of content creators. I'm not a professional makeup artist. I'm kind of like all of you. I just love makeup. So but I also want good quality for what I'm paying. So why I started my channel is I didn't see too many content creators who were kind of my age range and didn't have like flawless, poreless, like Asian skin. I definitely like worked really hard like the past 5 years on my skin. So I tend to have really big pores here. My T-zone's oily. I get rosacea here and eczema. And if anything, this will get dry and this will get oily. So a little bit of like oily combo skin. And I've always had like the trap of like matching my foundation with my neck. And so I try to wear either tank tops or a V-neck so you can see if like there's like a seamless kind of color here. But first impressions, it looks good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put some like the rest of makeup on and be back. Okay, so I grabbed some Dior products because, well, it's a Dior video. This is probably from 2 seasons ago, Christian Dior Forever Natural Bronze Glow. And I'm using the shade 051 Peachy Bronze Limited Edition. Love this packaging. Some people did not like this product when it came out because they felt it was too orange. For me, because of my skin tone, I actually really love it. So I'm going to take a squirrel hairbrush from Chikuhodo and just kind of swirl the product here and tap it a little bit. And you can see where I do like this is that because of just my coloring, this little bit of orangey warmth, it's almost like I don't need blush. It's just so pretty. When I get more tan, it's even more pretty. So it's kind of got a peachy undertone. And that's why I like it. That's why I could see why a lot of people didn't like this, because it's probably not flattering for their skin tone. But for me, I was like, I tend to like, if I can see a peachy tone, warm blush or bronzer, I just know it's gonna look good on me. Okay, a little bit of bronzer here just to bring that back to life. Maybe some up here. Okay, so I grabbed I only have 2 or 3 Dior blushes. Again, part of my big declutter. This is actually one of my all-time favorite blushes. And this is the Dior Rouge Blush 459 Charnel. It's just a beautiful color. I think for people who have like light to medium skin tones and maybe an olive undertone, this looks really lovely on you. I've tried this on my nieces who are like 2 or 3 shades lighter than me, but have like a light, like a neutral olive tone. They love it. I actually bought my niece this same shade. She loves it. Okay, so we're gonna put some of that on. Oh, I miss this blush. So pretty. And as we're getting into spring, I'm like pulling out my like neutrally spring blushes. I did over blush a little bit, but we'll figure that out. Did grab the one Dior Quint that I bought last year. And I didn't do a review of it because I didn't do a lot of YouTube last year for all the reasons. I'm editing my video now of like why I went away for a year, close to a year. So this is the Dior Show 5 Colors Palette Quint. This is 974 Pink Riviera limited edition, and if this is still available I will link it. But it's just like this really pretty kind of like pink with like some mauve tones in there. I just, you know, I'll be honest, like I am not a huge like fan of the reformulation of the Dior formula, but when I saw this quad I was like, oh, I'm gonna try it. So you can see those are such pretty colors. What I don't like about the new reformulation is they went like more clean beauty, and so there's no talc in here. I don't know what the reformulation is other than I miss the original Dior formula, and I don't think the Dior Quint formula is as good as what it was before the reformulation. This is a Tom Ford 13 brush, squirrel hair brush. It's like one of those original ones. And just grabbing probably this mauve purple shade. So pretty. And for me, this is the kind of quint where I feel like I could use just in one and done or two colors, and it's so pretty. Just because there's like it's like a satin quad, these shades are quint. Again, it's got to take a really unique color story for me to buy Dior lately, just because I'm not a huge fan of their formula. So that is just this shade here, which is kind of like this mauve color. I'm gonna grab a flat edge brush and use this pink one here. It has some beautiful embossing, but that's the thing, like you can't buy, well you can. I tend not to buy the makeup for just the embossing because it disappears on the first use. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab some of this kind of rust color down here. The deeper shade, the deepest color here is this kind of umber shade. I shy away from colors. I mean, it could be all these have carmine in it, but things like reds and pinks and purples tend to have like a higher amount of carmine, and sometimes that can irritate my eyes. And that's done. I'm gonna need some eyeliner and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, beauty fam. I finished the rest of my face. I put some DIOR lip, gosh, I don't even know what this is called. The lip oil? DIOR, I've had this for over a year. This is the shade 038, DIOR Lip Addict 038. I bought this one, I gotta finish it. I'm not, like, I like the way it looks, I just don't like the tingling sensation. And then I did a little bit of overlining with Lisa Eldridge's lip liner 3N, 3 Neutral. So this is what the makeup is looking at. Let me put my hair back so it's not a distraction. You can see there's definitely a glow. So that powder product, the blush is actually matte, and so is that bronzer. So it doesn't have a matte base. So all of this is actually the glow from the foundation. In terms of oxidation, I'm not seeing it so far. Actually, I think it's a really lovely shade match of 3 Warm Olive. This is my forehead. It's not looking oily, but I didn't put a lot of foundation on there. It's definitely glowy, but not offensively glowy. What I'm going to look at is what I found last time with the Dior foundations, the matte and the glow foundation from 2-3 years ago, is that it started to lift here and it just looked really terrible, and then it started to break down in my nose area. So why don't I just kind of sign off now and just get in really close, and then I'll try to check in through the day. It is, let's see, it's about 12:56, almost 1 o'clock, and definitely doing this during my lunchtime. But yeah, this is looking really pretty. I didn't want to get matte. I usually don't like glowy foundations, but because of my skin aging, I'm aging gracefully, but it's getting drier. So this is like really helping me, but I think it looks really good. What do you think? Let me know what you think of this. I am back. It has been almost 4 hours. It's almost 5 o'clock, and I think I stopped filming around 1. So I've had this makeup on for about 4 hours, and let me just grab a mirror. I have not touched up anything of my makeup. Like, I ate lunch, and so no, I didn't put any more lipstick on. So what you're seeing is actually what my face is looking at like after 4 hours. So looking at the mirror, I would say I'm definitely more oily looking. It's probably more oily and glowy than I prefer. So what I would normally do is not put more powder on, but actually either take a Kleenex, or if it's been a while, I usually use rice paper, those Tatcha rice paper powder, blotting powders, but I don't. So what I'm just going to do is just take some Kleenex and then blot the oil, and hopefully it'll pick up some of the oil. And I don't want to rub any of the makeup off. It'll just hopefully absorb some of the excess oil on my face. Okay, so that is what it's patted down, and there wasn't too much transfer, which is pretty good. And actually just looks like more, doesn't even look like the foundation, looks maybe more like the powder that I used. So I'm gonna go this side so you can see. And part of it is not to rub the Kleenex in, just using it to blot any oil. Okay, and that is what the Kleenex looks like. So there was very little transfer. So what you're seeing on my face is pretty much the glow from this foundation. It is a bit glowier than I prefer, but you know, that's what I bought. I kind of knew what I was getting into. I don't think it's offensive looking. I actually think it makes my skin look very healthy. I'm definitely not using this foundation for SPF. There's no way I'm going to reapply this every 2 hours. Flawless, radiant. I would say it's definitely radiant. Is it flawless? No. If I wanted more of a flawless finish, I think I would have picked the Backstage, which is definitely more flawless and more full coverage, though it's not radiant. If I wanted more full coverage radiant, I would have definitely picked something like a Clé de Peau foundation, which is more full coverage. Or the Armani Luminous Silk, the old foundation, like the original. I haven't tried the new one because I'm not interested in that so much, but I imagine that's fuller coverage. I remember the original one being for full coverage. Skin True foundation. It definitely looks more natural than the last one I had. So far, I like this formula than the last formulation. Let's see, 24-hour wear. Well, I'm doing a makeup wear test from 1 o'clock, and there's definitely no way I'm going to make it to 12 hours, which is like 1 in the morning. And I don't know anyone that's going to wear 24-hour makeup unless they're like, I don't know, a field reporter or journalist. So it has 24-hour makeup wear like claims, but I'd be really curious if there was a reviewer who did a 24-hour test. It's kind of like after like 8 hours, I just don't want makeup on my face. No retouch. That I don't know. Like you can see already, I'm having to retouch it a little bit. If retouch means taking like the blotting paper of my oil, then I do have to retouch. So I don't know if that claim is right. Triple action care with sunscreen, hyaluronic acid, niacinamide peptide. You know, these are things I would have to try over time to see if there's skin improvement qualities because of the foundation. But again, I use hyaluronic acid from a different skincare line. Niacinamide, I am not too keen on having niacinamide in any of my skincare or products. Niacinamide's meant to like reduce pores and help with texture, but it also, for some people, and this is me included, I did find niacinamide, especially if it was a high percentage, it ended up lightening or whitening my skin, and I did not like that. So I generally try not to have niacinamide in my products. Peptides, I love them. It's for like aging, that helps with lines. So yeah, so far I think it's really pretty. I think it's definitely more of like a natural radiant foundation. Let me know what you think, and then I'll probably try to do one more check-in after dinner. It is a little after 10 o'clock and I'm about to get ready for bed, but this is my last check-in. I have not freshened up my face or my lipstick. I had dinner and ran some errands and drove around for some errands today, and this is what the foundation is looking like. It doesn't look so terribly oily. It's definitely on the shiny side. I think for me, I'm actually okay with this level of radiant. So I would say this is a natural radiant. There have been other foundations, and I can't like think off the top of my head, maybe like the House Labs and the Makeup by Maria, which were way too dewy on me, that because of my combo oily skin, it actually looked really gross and slick, and then it would the foundation would actually separate from my face with the oils. But from what I'm seeing now, and I'm just looking at a really, what I can see from here, I'm looking at a really like a close mirror here, is that the foundation is not separating, which is really, really nice. What I think this foundation is good for is somebody with either dry skin or combo skin, which I have. Like, I'm pretty oily here and can get oily here, but because I powdered it down, I think it looks okay. It looks actually like a really nice, like radiant, natural look with a little extra boost. For me, I don't think I would put, what I would do using this foundation, I don't think I would put any additional highlight here because it's already dewy looking, and I wouldn't probably use any blush or bronzer that was like illuminating, just because it already has this kind of luminous base. But it's actually really nice. I'm gonna keep testing this. Again, it's a first impression, so as I use it this week, I will pin a comment below of how I'm really finding this foundation. But usually my tell if it's a really bad foundation is, again, my nose, and it did not separate, which I'm so impressed with. Like, probably half the time I'm doing foundation wear tests, it will start to separate, and that did not happen here. You know, my driest area is definitely under my eye, and that has to do with aging, and it doesn't look too bad. But yeah, I would say that it's not a full coverage foundation, because I definitely have some like blemishes here. I don't know if you can see it, like some dark spots that I'm okay not covering up. I actually have a dark spot here too that's kind of peeking through. Actually, I'm not sure if that's a dark spot or is it at this point. If you're looking for a full coverage foundation, I don't think this is it. I would say maybe it like is buildable to be more fuller coverage, but I don't find that to be like my Chanel Ultra Le Temps. I consider that like a very full coverage, like medium to full. This is more like a light to medium coverage foundation. It looks really nice in that it's like that it's a natural radiant kind of natural radiant foundation, and I think I do like it. I haven't seen anyone's reviews, so after I post my review, I like to look at other people's reviews. I will post my thoughts and pin it below after I've been using this for a good week. But in terms of like oxidation, I don't think it happened. The match is staying pretty true to form. And what else can I say? Like, even though it had a Dior fragrance, the fragrance dissipated. Sometimes I try foundations that are so fragrant, the perfume never goes away. And those two foundations were La Mer and Guerlain. I just couldn't stand it. So usually for me, my experience, Dior and Chanel, even though they have perfume or fragrance in their foundation, it usually dissipates and I don't smell it. Let me know what you think of it. And that is it for my review. And if you haven't subscribed, remember to subscribe and click all so you get notifications of when my videos go live. Commenting and liking helps engagement on my channel. And as always, please be very kind with yourself and others, and just be you. Until the next video, be fan, take good care. Bye.